UFC Fight Pass presents Extra Rounds. Live from the Fight Pass studios in Southern California, it's Extra Rounds on UFC Fight Pass. Along with Ray Longo, here's your host, TJ DeSantis. Extra Rounds.
Oh, yeah. It is Extra Rounds here on UFC Fight Pass. I'm TJ DeSantis, and it was a hell of a fight card. Capped by a main event that you're not going to find any better in the sport of mixed martial arts, I promise you that. And we're here to talk about it. Joining me, the one, the only, Ray Longo, and the one and only Chase Hooper. It's three wide here, and I'm happy we're three wide as we cap off one of the better trilogies you're going to find in the UFC. Ray, I will start with you. Leon Rocky Edwards gets it done in maybe contentious fashion. You know, he had a point deducted. When I saw him lose the point, Ray, I thought there was no way in hell he was going to win a decision. But, you know, the judges saw it their way. What were your thoughts on the decision?
I thought the decision was spot on. I thought he 100% won the fight. But to your point, when he did grab the fence and kind of denied it, I thought was not a good sign. I thought
right.
He might have started to drift, but he definitely landed the cleanest shots. I think the biggest shots.
Don't do that.
I don't know who.
I think Chase Hooper's got a bunch of background noise going on. What's going on over there, Chase?
Yeah.
Where are you at?
I apologize. This is my third week of being on Extra Rounds and my third week of cornering fights.
Oh,
I guess there's like a wrestling tournament going on too.
Oh,
There's a lot of kids leaving.
oh, nice.
So I apologize for that.
It's all right. It's all right. Chase, what were your thoughts on the fence grab and how Herb Dean handled it?
I mean, it makes a lot of sense on Herb's end. Like, there was no way that he could replicate that position or the takedown that Usman, potentially would have gotten had he not grabbed the fence. So taking the point makes the most sense, especially with the glove grab earlier on. But, I think that was just a little bit of gamesmanship from Leon maybe. But, yeah.
You bring
Ended up working out.
You bring up the glove grab, and there was also some low shots, and granted it was sort of a culmination of things. Ray, did you think that the grabbing of the glove forced Herb's hand to take that point maybe a little bit quicker than he would in another situation?
No, I thought that was I thought Herb handled everything really, really well tonight. And again, he did take the point away. That could have loomed large. But I thought, at first off, the fight, I was worried that, with the low blow, that things were just going to go. It was going to be one of those fights where we don't even make it to the end. You know what I mean? It's going to be foul after foul. But, Leon trying to no-sell what he was doing was the only thing I had an issue with. You know what I mean? But all in all, I think, what Teddy Atlas said, about becoming 20, 30% better when you become the champ, I think showed. I picked Edwards to win based on really the altitude is a major problem for anybody. You could see his gas tank was way better tonight. He was cleaner. He always looked like he was in control. You could tell what he was trying to do. Usman didn't have success with the takedowns. And he did get outstruck on his feet. There's no question about it that they had the fight going in the right direction.
Yeah, I thought the altitude definitely did play a factor. I thought there were a few things that we saw really, on display pro Leon Edwards tonight. And, more often than not, guys, I think stylistically this isn't a good fight for Leon Edwards. But the way that he was able to utilize his kicks and nullify the takedowns, phenomenal the way that he reacted to the game plan of Kamaru Usman, because Usman's a guy that, his game plan was effective throughout the second fight, and he won pretty much every single second of that fight until he got caught. Tonight, he largely played that same game plan, but Leon Edwards was just having none of it.
Right. Yeah, I thought it was a beautifully executed game plan. The body kicks were great. You knew he was looking to set up for the big head kick. He did get one or two off, but man, the significant kicks had to be way up there. So, again, when you look at what was, and it was a competitive fight. Don't get me wrong, but I really don't know what Usman was trying to do. Besides, trying to look for the takedown, he really never got his offense off, and I think that was the difference in the fight.
Right. No. When you were watching it, Chase, how were you scoring it? Did you think that Leon Edwards was able to actually still win decision despite dropping the point?
I honestly, I thought we were more likely to see a draw than Leon win with that point taken. But again, though, you have to consider like Leon is an English guy fighting in the UK. Like, that's everything. Every fighter considers that. You're like, I'm fighting a guy in his hometown. If it comes to a decision and it's close, probably not going to get the win on that one. And I mean, obviously it was close either way, but I'm not mad with that decision. But I definitely feel like it was more of an uphill battle after having that point deducted.
Yeah, I don't know how many times there have been, 4-part fights inside the UFC, but I mean, if we're ever going to see it, I think as long as Usman can stick around near the top, this is probably on that short list. Ray, in your mind, what does Kamaru Usman need to do to secure another shot against Leon Edwards for that welterweight strap?
I mean, he's going to have to win maybe 1 or 2 fights. I mean, look, these fights are always going to be close. The problem with Usman now is I think he's going against the clock a little bit, right? He's already been champion. He's tasted everything. He's made some money. He knows what it's like to be champ. It's just really hard to come back and get that eye of the tiger again. And I think that's going to be his biggest problem. And now, when you lose a couple of fights, you give other people hope and how to beat them, right? That never had that hope before. And I think so each fight he has is going to be a tough fight no matter who he has. And, he's 35 for that weight class that's starting to get up there. You know? So I think that's his battle, is really just getting the hunger back and hoping that his body can hold up to the training. Like he said it, he was thinking of retiring. He said how the camps are, and the camps are brutal.
Right.
If you're not a guy in your 20s, man, those camps suck, man. 34, 35. He's got a little girl now. I think there's a lot that goes into it. And plus he was such a great dominant champ. It's just going to be tough. I think it's more the clock working against him than anything else. He definitely was competitive. You could still see he was in the fight, but that's my take on it.
I like to go back and forth and ask both, the experts some, advice on similar topics. And Ray's talking about, training longer into your 30s. I can't really ask Chase Hooper what it's like to train into his 30s. He's still barely into his 20s. But, Chase, even in your journey, have you noticed how you've had to maybe slow down or rest at all throughout your long, MMA career, even into your, early 20s?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm still on the younger end of things and my body still recovers pretty well. But, like the fights, obviously, every one of these fights, especially at UFC at the highest level, especially at Usman's level, you're not really walking out of there easy. Like, you're going to be sore for a while. You're going to have some nagging injuries for, maybe months to come, maybe for the rest of your life. But, that's just how it is. The stakes are so much higher. That's why the paydays are so much higher. I mean, I'm obviously young, but I've been training for most of my life, and I can definitely feel, some things getting a little more sore. So I can't imagine adding another, 10 years onto that. And, Usman's had that full wrestling career before. That's, it's not great on your body. Never seen any spry wrestlers at his age. So, I mean, it makes a lot of sense that it's going to take a huge toll. And, again, none of these fights are easy. So,
yeah, and I think Chase is spot on with that. I mean, look, if you think Usman's going to go to walk up the stairs in a couple of days, it's going to be painful, man. He took a lot of leg kicks. And then even the body kicks. I mean, he's such a disciplined grinder that he walked through a lot of that stuff. But trust me, when the adrenaline wears off, like Chase says, he didn't leave that octagon. His face wasn't beat up, but his body 100% was. And at 35, you're going to feel that, maybe get second thoughts. Who the hell knows? Like, you're going to have to come up with motivation somewhere. And, you're not going to get what was that? That was their fourth fight?
Third fight.
Third fight. Yeah. Third fight, right. I don't think we're seeing a Brandon Moreno-Figueiredo thing again. I don't think we're going to do that. So they're going to make these guys fight different people, and it's just a long way off. I mean, another 2 fights of damage, depending on how the fights go.
Right.
It'd be a game changer. So only time will tell. We'll see. So
Let's talk about what might be next for Leon Rocky Edwards. They had Colby Covington weigh in just in case something happened to either of these guys to slide into this main event spotlight. Colby was on the TV after Leon gets his hand raised. Colby Covington, always a guy who's ready to mix things up and fight. But, if you're Leon Edwards, you got to feel pretty confident. Colby's not all that different from Kamaru in, the way of strategies are concerned. Ray, what do you like for Leon Edwards in that fight with Colby Covington? Is it more of the same of what he did tonight against Kamaru Usman?
I think it's more of the same of what he did. He was able to take away the takedowns. I don't know where Colby's at right now either. But, he's probably going to put I think this fight was a great, fight for leading up to the Colby Covington fight. And I think Usman's got better hands than Colby, and Leon will be able to pick him apart a little differently. But does Colby put a little more pressure on? Does he take more risks? Yeah, probably.
Right.
And that might mean something, but I'd still say the odds are going to go to Leon Edwards at this point. It goes back to, again, a guy that waited so long for the championship, had a great win streak leading up to it, and now he's just booming with confidence, man. He's going to be hard to beat. He's a hard guy to read. I look at his face. I'm not sure if he's happy, he's sad. It's actually crazy, but I know him pretty well in person. I really love the guy. I think he's a great guy. He's got a great team. But, man, is he hard to read? Sometimes he just stands. I don't know if he thinks he won, he lost. But he's got a great poker face, man. But I think he'll be the favorite in the Colby fight. And the fights with Usman are just huge for that matchup.
Yeah. Yeah, let's actually take a look at the odds, courtesy of DraftKings, because the champ was the underdog tonight. He closed at plus 200, was pretty much the underdog throughout the entire lead up to the fight, and then actually became the favorite as the fight progressed, which was not surprising in the sense that, you saw some momentum on the side of Leon Edwards, and when he got his confidence going, Usman was really not able to dissuade him by any means. DraftKings Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of the UFC with same-game parlays, championship futures, and more. There's no better place to bet on the UFC than DraftKings. Download the app and sign up with promo code Fight Pass and get in on all of the UFC betting action right now. I'm with Ray in the idea that Leon Edwards probably going to be a favorite against someone like Colby Covington. But if you're in the corner of Colby Covington, Chase, what would you tell Colby to do to try to, at least get something going in terms of effective offense? Because what was impressive tonight was obviously Leon Edwards was not only able to win despite taking a point, but on two of the judges' scorecards, he won 4 rounds to 1, which is saying something. Hometown or not hometown, stylistically, to take 4 rounds off of someone like Kamaru Usman, man, I mean, if you're Colby Covington with a similar game plan, Chase, I got to assume you're going to be going to the well of new tricks because, Usman threw everything he had against him.
Yeah, I think Colby needs to put the wrestling on early, like really put the fear, same thing as Merab, same thing as Islam, these guys that are more wrestling based, they need to start getting the fear in the other guy early, like, oh, this guy's going to take me down. So then that's going to make his striking, look a lot better because Leon's going to have to be worried about both the grappling and the striking. I think Usman was doing a lot more striking tonight than he was grappling. But I think Colby's more, again, he's not as well-rounded. He's not as much of a power striker. He knows that the wrestling and that crazy pressure is how he wins fights. So I think he needs to put that on early and really try to, put that in Leon's head of like, all right, this guy's going to put a crazy pace on and I need to be worried about the wrestling. That's going to help him open up his striking. But yeah, he just needs to put it on early and put it on thick.
Let's talk about our co-main event tonight because it was a phenomenal performance. It goes the distance, but Justin Gaethje able to get his hand raised and, was showcasing his durability. I thought he was in a bit of trouble, but, man, he came back in such a big way in that third round against Fiziev. How did you score the bout, Ray? Were you pretty confident that Gaethje was going to walk away with that one after 15 minutes were over?
No, I wasn't confident, but third round wise was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, Gaethje is. I mean, he's the lightweight Dan Henderson, I think.
Oh, yeah.
But
I like that analogy.
yeah, but with a couple of more tools, right? But
Yeah.
man, when he throws, man, he throws. But I think I would have given rounds 1 and 2 to Fiziev, and then the third round 100% to Gaethje. The way he comes back was phenomenal. But you can't argue with the decision. I wasn't.
Right.
I was watching it more as a fan, not as a judge. I just thought he had Gaethje a little off balance in the first 2 rounds. He was missing big, and he landed some big shots. He buckled Gaethje a couple of times. I think for Fiziev moving forward, his problem is going to be 5 rounds. It looks like he starts to fade. He faded in the Bobby Green fight.
Yeah.
He didn't put on, what he should have put on tonight against Gaethje in the third round. So it looks like 4 and 5. If he doesn't make some adjustments, going to be problems for him. But I would have edged it out to Fiziev, but either way, it was good. I mean, and I got to tell you got to love Gaethje. So I'm it's crazy. I'm happy, but he took some big shots. But holy shit, is he a gunslinger? This kid, man.
Yeah,
crazy.
100%. I wasn't upset with the idea of it being a draw. I thought that Fiziev did enough, but you're right, Ray. The idea of him being a top contender and still being able to be a threat when we get to championship or main event rounds, I mean, it's going to be tough. And granted, he was in there with a guy like Gaethje who doesn't go away, so right. you're going to maybe fade a little bit down the way there. But man, I was also impressed with Gaethje's leg attack with the kicking offense. Like, I know he's always been good with his leg kicks, but the way that he was buckling Fiziev a little bit, he kicked him early in the fight. I was just impressed. It was granted still a very stand up heavy, almost all stand up heavy matchup for Gaethje. I liked his fight IQ. Chase, I know you're a grappler. Maybe you would have liked Gaethje to go more wrestling, but what were your thoughts on his sort of well-rounded attack tonight against Fiziev?
Yeah, I mean, I was honestly I was really impressed with how well he was countering a guy in Fiziev who is crazy fast, has crazy power, where he's got that great range with his kicking game. I feel like Gaethje, again, like he struggled early, first, maybe a little bit of second round. But then he found his stride. He started figuring out Fiziev's timing. He was landing some really nice shots, and you could see the damage at the end of the fight. Obviously, Gaethje took a ton of big shots himself, but one of the main factors that they're trying to score on now is damage. That's supposed to be the number one scoring factor, and you can see the damage just on the faces, and that helps you determine who should have won.
TJ, do we have a press row on how they scored that fight?
I'll pull it up for you in just 1 second here.
I didn't want to interrupt you. I'm curious to know how they scored it, because I thought it was I don't know, but again, when you have a third round like that, I go right back to the pride rules. I give it to Gaethje, man. He finished that. The uppercuts he was landing were brutal in the last round. So it would have been like, I would have hate to have seen him lose, but I do think scoring wise, the other guy edged out the first 2, but the second round was probably in question. So, again, I was watching as a fan.
Talk amongst yourselves. I'm counting.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
How about that? Has Gaethje ever hit a takedown in UFC? I don't think I've seen much wrestling from him at all.
Yeah, well, he waited for 3 seconds and then he hit it, but at least he hit it. But that was pretty funny. He really should have implemented the wrestling right off the bat. I think it would have opened up his striking, for the rest of the fight and off-balanced him. But then again, if you expend that energy against a guy like Fiziev, you don't want to, you want to have your firepower.
I've got 28 media cards here with 18 going the way of Justin Gaethje.
Wow. All right. There you go. That's your answer. I'll go with that.
Yeah. And I wasn't mad.
I would have thought it was the other way around.
I wasn't mad at the idea of a 28-28 card, which is what Paul Sutherland had. So, a hell of a fight. Justin Gaethje does what he does great. One thing, though, Ray, and I don't know if you're like me, but every time these kids do these backflips, I just get scared, man.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you when you really should get scared, if you ever see me do one.
Oh my God!
Guaranteed I'll be carried out in a fucking wheelchair for sure.
Chase, do us a favor. Don't do any backflips, please.
No, for sure. One of the dudes that I've been training with for a while, Terrence McKinney, his debut, he did a backflip, and I think he hurt his knee. He got more hurt doing that than he did in the fight.
Yeah, those are scary.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's not on my plan A.
There you go. There you go. Pretty good performance tonight from Gunnar Nelson. Gets the armbar. Brian Barberena had to tap with less than 10 seconds left. I'll defer to you, Chase Hooper. Your thoughts on the big win by Gunnar Nelson tonight?
Yeah, I mean, we saw Barberena got finished by RDA. I think that honestly, I think Gunnar Nelson's jiu-jitsu is even more higher level. And I think he showed that tonight. I mean, he gets another first-round sub. He gets, that huge crowd reaction, and I mean that seems to be the way to beat Barberena. Don't slug it out with him. He's got plenty of that. Get him to the ground and try to jits him up, and that's exactly what he did. That I was happy with it. I always love seeing some good jiu-jitsu and a good night.
Dude, that to me was really old school jiu-jitsu, right? He mounts him. He goes to, what do they call that? Like a S mount, or wherever you go off to the side like that, setting up the armbar. It looked like jiu-jitsu 101 to me, man. So hats off to he made it look easy.
Yeah,
against a tough guy. So
what's interesting too is that was the most dominant performance of the night. Every other fight on our main card was really close. Had great
really
fight
close.
Between
every fight.
The ladies. Jennifer Maia was able to get her hand raised against a previously undefeated Casey O'Neill. I thought that was a very close fight. We saw Marvin Vittori earlier in the night get his hand raised as well. I actually went the other way on the Vittori fight against Roman Dolidze. But again, just what a quality night of action. And I'm looking outside here in Southern California. The sun's still up. It's early. Chase Hooper's literally outside, and the sun is still up. We're blessed on these days where we can actually, watch some sports and, not like, I mean, I shouldn't be complaining when I make Ray Longo stay up until 2 in the morning on a regular basis here.
Well, this is beautiful tonight, man. So I'm surprised. I think the sun just went down over here, so I'm happy. I'm happy as you are.
Yeah, it's a big win. I saw your boy Matt Serra this week out in Boston, Ray Longo.
As long as he treated you well, I'm happy.
He treated me well, yeah. I mean, I had to tell him, if you're not nice to me, I'm going to tell Ray Longo.
100%. I hope that would keep him in check. I'm not even sure anymore.
No, it was funny. I said, "Hey, Matt, I'm TJ DeSantis. I've never met you before." And he goes, "Oh yeah, you're the one that works with Ray." I'm like,
"Oh shit,
that works." Yeah.
He does. It's funny because he does follow everything. He's always like, "Did you listen to my podcast?" I go, "Dude, I really just don't have the time."
Right. I hear you.
That's if you get to know him, he's such a fucking good dude, man.
Yeah. Well, the one time they had me on Unfiltered, Matt wasn't there. It was just me and Jim Norton. So I was like, okay, maybe Matt doesn't like me,
No. Norton's awesome too, man. They're great together.
No, 100%. So what are you doing now, Chase? You're just like warming up your guy here when you get off with us, or what's going on?
Yeah, we got one of my teammates is going to be probably his last amateur fight. He's pretty high up on the card, which is nice. I mean, it was a heck of a drive to get out here. I was watching the fights on the way down. I wasn't driving, though, so it's all good.
Yeah, where are you right now? Are you, like, in rural Washington?
Pretty much. It was like a hour and a half, 2-hour drive. It was not the funnest, but, guys need to get cornered, and extra rounds needs to be accounted for. So happy to be a part of both.
Chase, I'm going to tell you something. As a corner guy for the last 40 years, an hour and a half is a gift. Trust me. I was supposed to be at Foxwoods today. That's 2.5 hours. That's not even bad. Atlantic City's 3 hours. So an hour and a half, I would consider that's a blessing. Trust me. When you start going 3 hours, it starts to wear on you a little bit, but that's pretty cool.
Oh, trust me. I'm just getting back from Boston, and I'm starting to feel like an old man over here, guys. 6 hours in the metal tube in the sky does a number on a man's back.
Yeah, I'll be out in California in 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah, I got a kid fighting in Bellator, a really good fight.
Nice.
Against Archie Colgan against my guys Montalvo. Justin the Kid, really, really good. It's going to be a great fight.
I think that's down in San Diego. So when you're out here, Ray, I'll come out. I'll buy you lunch.
Are you by San Diego?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like 2 hours away.
All right, because it's the fight's in Temecula, but I'm flying into San Diego.
Yeah, it's right down the road, like hour and a half away.
Perfect. There you go.
I'll come out and buy you a sandwich or something.
I'm down.
Yeah, I'm off to Cancun this next week. We got Medusa, female-only jiu-jitsu, and Combat Jiu-Jitsu World. So,
Wow.
If you like jiu-jitsu with palm strikes, tune in to Fight Pass.
They're keeping you busy. I'll tell you that.
I just won't go away. I'm like a problem that just won't go away. So,
All
right.
Okay, I'll tell you a funny story. You're talking about Terrence McKinney hurting his knee. I'll never forget the time I was talking to our good friend Bruce Buffer, TJ, and he says, I'm just getting over a knee injury. And I said, really? How'd that happen? He goes, GSP.
Okay.
So I go, holy shit. I go, you were sparring GSP? He goes, no, when I was announcing him, I stomped my foot on the ground.
Well, so that was his first of 2 knee injuries. You know where the second one came from?
No.
It was International Fight Week in like 2016. He was doing a lip sync battle against Stipe Miocic.
Oh, man.
And it was like, I honestly think it was Living on a Prayer from Bon Jovi.
Nice.
And when it kicks in, from the whoa, 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 he jumps up, smashes his knee, and blows out his ACL again.
We got to keep this guy on the ground, TJ. He can't be jumping.
He's jumping again, though. I mean, when you're out in the center of the spotlight in the octagon on these big pay-per-view nights, I get why maybe the emotion gets you, but we need to have him grounded again.
Yeah, I watched him tonight, though. The jumps, he's not going up as high.
Okay,
he's
that's
keeping
good.
The jumps a little lower.
I mean, the guy's like 65 plus years old. I mean, I'm like 20 years plus his, younger, and I'm not jumping that high. So
yeah, that's funny.
What are you gonna do? Chase, again, just don't do a backflip. Otherwise, Ray and I are gonna have you back on extra rounds and yell at you.
Yeah, no backflips here. I'm not athletic enough for that.
I mean, you said it, not me. I would never say that about you.
I know where I am.
But, jiu-jitsu guys, they don't have to be the most athletic people in the world.
No, for sure. I just got to roll around with dudes,
Skill over strength, skill over technique, or technique over strength, or something like that, right?
That's it right now.
There you go. Look at that. No size, no strength, no speed. Technique. I love it. I love it.
Nice.
We've come full circle. There's no better way to sign off than that right here. So, guys, I appreciate both of you hanging out and doing some extra rounds. And I think I'm going to go home and see my wife before the sun goes down. She's going to probably hate me for it, but, she married me, so she's stuck with it.
All right, beautiful. Hey, Chase, it was a pleasure, man.
Hey, I appreciate it.
TJ, give me a buzz during the week.
Sounds good, Ray. We'll talk soon.
Awesome, buddy. Take it easy, guys.
There he is. Ray Longo. Chase Hooper, kind enough to join me here on Extra Rounds. It was a hell of a night for the underdogs. I want to bring up the underdogs again if you want to take a look at what we saw tonight, because Leon Edwards, he wins as a plus 200 underdog. Justin Gaethje wins as a plus 200 underdog. Jennifer Maia winning as a plus 140 underdog. Great night to be an underdog tonight. And again, great night to be a bettor if you are one. You should head over to DraftKings Sportsbook. It is the official sportsbook of the UFC with same-game parlays, championship futures, and more. There's no better place to bet on the UFC than DraftKings. Download the app, sign up with the promo code FIGHTPASS, and get in on all of the UFC betting action right now. All right, that's it. No reason to drag this out any longer. A heck of a night. If you are just joining us and you didn't see the pay-per-view, maybe you thought it was on later or something, just go buy it right now. It was that damn good. This is going to be one of those events that are way up here when it comes to setting the bar for event of the year. And, good luck trying to break it. But we got Miami coming up. Israel Adesanya taking on a familiar foe as Alex Pereira defends his title for the very first time. Gilbert Burns in action, taking on Jorge Masvidal. What a great time it is to be a UFC and mixed martial arts fan. So, like I said, I'll be down in Mexico coming up this week. Please tune in both Saturday and Sunday. We've got events coming your way from Playa del Carmen in Mexico. Jiu-Jitsu fans going to get excited for Combat Jiu-Jitsu Worlds, and then Medusa female-only Jiu-Jitsu. It's going to be a lot of fun, so please tune in for all that fun business. For Ray Longo, Chase Hooper, I'm TJ DeSantis. We'll see you next time as we go a few more extra rounds right here on UFC Fight Pass. Have a good night.
Anytime on UFC